Students, in today's class, let's discuss about the post-fertilization events, that is development of seeds and fruits. So in the last class, we discussed about the development of endosperm and the development of embryo. Now, as fertilization takes place, the development of the ovule and the ovary also takes place. And the act of fertilization, that is why it stimulates the formation of seeds and fruits. Here, the ovule is transformed into seeds and the ovary is transformed into fruits. So in today's class, we are going to just study about what are the changes that we can see in the ovule when it becomes a seed, or what are the changes that happens within the ovary when it transforms into fruits. So let's at first discuss about the development of the ovule. During the formation of the embryo and the endosperm, the integument of the ovule, it gradually dries up, and the two dried integuments forms the seed coat. So from the chart now you can observe the changes that we can see within and outside the ovule. So first thing, that the integument, which is of two parts, that is the outer part and the inner part, it becomes tista and tegmen. The nucellus is generally get degenerated because as the endosperm grows, it fills the nucellus region, and in that case what happens, that the nucellus, it gets degenerated. But in some seeds such as that of black pepper, coffee, cardamom, etc., the nucellus, it is persisted, and that persisted or residual nucellus is called the perisperm. Now let's come to the important cells or important parts from the embryo sac. Generally, after fertilization, the egg cell, it gets developed into zygote, and from zygote it gets developed into the structure which is called as embryo. The secondary nucleus from the embryo sac, it gets developed into endosperm after the fusion with the haploid male gamete, which becomes a triploid endosperm. Synergids and the antipodal cells, it becomes degenerated after the act of fertilization. Now there were some other parts of the ovule as well, such as funicle, raphe, chalaza, micropyle, hilum, etc. So here the funicle, that becomes the seed stalk. Raphe, it remains as the raphe. Chalaza, that remains as the chalaza. Micropyle, that remains as the micropyle, because if you observe the seed properly, you can definitely see the micropylar pore. And the hilum, it remains as a hilum there. So there are no such changes from these parts. Now, on the basis of this development, there are two types of seeds, and those two types of seeds are endospermic or albuminous seed and non-endospermic or ex-albuminous seed. What is albuminous seed? During the development of the embryo, the endosperm nourishes the developing embryo, and when the endosperm persists in the seed, it is called albuminous or endospermic seed. So here it is said that we know that during the development of the embryo, endosperm, it generally nourishes, or the endosperm is the fruit-laden tissue for the developing embryo. And during the development of the embryo till its germination stage, the endosperm, it gets used for feeding the embryo. Now, in that case, Sometimes in some seeds the endosperm it still persists, and such type of seed is called as albuminous or endospermic seed. Examples are rice, wheat, castor, coconut, etc. And what is ex-albuminous or non-endospermic seed? So these are the seeds where the embryo completely utilizes the endosperm, and here the endosperm is totally eaten up by the developing embryo. That is why it is called as non-endospermic or ex-albuminous seeds. Examples are pea, gram, kidney beans, etc. So we can see these two types of seeds on the basis of the development of the endosperm. So here are the longitudinal section of two types of seed. One, here is the non-endospermic seed and the other one is the endospermic seed. So here the non-endospermic seed is the Pisum sativum, or that we commonly call as the pea. So here this is a dicotyledonous seed and it just consists of the testa, tegmen, plumule, hypocotyle, radicle. These are the parts of the embryo here, and the inner part, that is the endosperm, which later gets used up. And on the other side you can see the endospermic monocotyledonous seed, which is the endospermic seed. So here we can see a few additional parts such as the aleurone layer. The aleurone layer, it is a protein rich layer that lies just outside the endosperm of any kind of monocotyledonous seed, and there the cotyledon, it gets modified into scutellum, then the plumule, that is covered by a sheet which is called as coleoptile, and the radicle, it is again covered by a sheet which is called as coleorhiza. So here we can see difference between a dicotyledonous seed, a monocotyledonous seed, as well as an endospermic seed and an non-endospermic seed. So from the development of the seed, now let's come to the development of the ovary into fruit. There are three types of fruits. The first one is the true fruit. When the fruits are from the ovary after the act of fertilization, they are called as true fruit. For example, mango, tomato, brinjal, chili, etc. These are all called as true fruits because they are the result of fertilization, and after fertilization when the ovary grows or develops, that type of fruit is called as true fruit. Then come the next type of fruit, which is called as false fruit. When fruits are formed from the calyx, thalamus, receptacle other than the ovary, they are called as false fruit. After the act of fertilization, the ovary, it doesn't grow much in its size, or it does not develop further, but the accessory parts that are present in the flower, such as the calyx, thalamus, receptacle, which are nearby the ovary, and they shows rapid development along with the reduced ovary. Such type of fruits are called as false fruit. For example, apple, pear, strawberry, etc. In the case of apple, the true fruit that is inside, and the edible part, that is actually the thalamus. Similarly, it is for pears and strawberry. Now the third type of fruit, it is called as the parthenocarpic fruit. Now some fruits are formed without fertilization directly from the ovary. That means the egg, it is not fertilized by a male gamete, and without fertilization, when the ovary itself it develops into a fruit, such type of fruit is called as parthenocarpic fruit. And normally this type of fruits, they are seedless, and such type of fruits are banana, grapes, etc. Now let's come to the inner structure of fruit when seen through a longitudinal section. So here you have seen the longitudinal section of two fruits. One is the mango and other one is the lemon. So it is in case of any kind of fruit that the ovary wall of the fruit that develops to form the pericarp of the fruit. And the pericarp, it develops into three distinct structures, and these three distinct structures are the epicarp, mesocarp and the endocarp. Epicarp, that is the skin of the fruit, or you can say the outer part of the fruit. Then comes the middle fleshy part, which is the mesocarp, and the inner membranous part, that is the endocarp. So here in case of these two fruits, we can see the inner structures or the distribution of these layers that is quite different along with their nature. Say for example, in case of the mango, their epicarp, it is smooth, whereas the epicarp of lemon, it is leathery. The mesocarp, in case of the mango, that is quite juicy and fleshy, whereas in case of the lemon, it is generally in the form of white aggregate, which is also called as the rind. And in case of the endocarp, here in case of mango, it is membranous fiber-like structure, whereas in case of the lemon, it is in the form of capsules inside it. So depending upon the distribution of this pericarp layer, there are different types of fruits, such as the mango, it is called as the drupe, lemon, that is called as the hesperidium, then pumpkin, cucumber, these are called as the pepo. So based on the distribution of the pericarp and the nature of the existence of these pericarp layers, that is epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp, there are different kind of fruits that we can see. So development of fruit, it is stimulated by the auxin secretion in the ovary, and we can see that the fruit that gets developed and it gets ripened, and this ripening, it is because of a plant hormone which is called as ethylene and cytokinin. So after the fruit is matured, the physiology process of the ripening that generally starts, and in this process the starch that is converted into sugar. So in that way we can have different colors, taste and texture of the fruit that was described just now. So now let's come to the significance of seeds and fruits. The significance of seeds in case of flowering plants. So seeds, they have a easy dispersal mechanism. It stores nutrition for the growing embryo in the form of endosperm, and also it can protect the embryo by its seed coat. And actually the success of the angiosperms to become the dominant plant in case of the plant kingdom, it is due to the production of the seeds. Whereas the significance of fruits are, fruits, it protects the immature seeds from injury and adverse climate. The mature fruits become bright colored only to attract seed dispersal, and the immature fruits can have chemical defense against animals, as they have a repellent taste, and that protects the seed from the animals as the defense mechanism. Now let's come to another point related to seed, which is called the seed dormancy. Seed dormancy, in dry seeds, the moisture content of seeds decreases and the embryo occurs in a state of inactivity, and such phenomenon is called seed dormancy. So in case of a dormant seed, generally the moisture level it gradually decreases and it reaches up to 10 to 15%. And in that the embryo it becomes inactive, but as it imbibes water it again gets regenerated. So such type of dormant seeds they are of great importance in case of agriculture, as we can keep the seeds for a longer period of time till it gets germinated. So in case of such seed, the micropylar pore it exchanges the oxygen and the water that enters the seed at the time of germination. So these are some changes or important points to be discussed in case of the development of seed and the fruits.